I'm Mark Dresner, and this is Forward Focus, a special interview series featuring experts and leaders at the forefront of innovation. Forward Focus is brought to you by the Front End of Innovation Conference, FEI, the world leader in advancing innovation, now entering its 15th year. Joining me today is Robin Beers. She is the Senior Vice President and Head of Customer Experience Insights at Wells Fargo. Robin, welcome to Forward Focus.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your role and responsibilities to get us started?
Okay. So I head up a team of researchers and data scientists. I'd like to say that we bring together small data together with big data to produce integrated insights about our customers.
Is your background in consumer research?
It is,
Yeah,
yes.
okay.
So I was on the consumer side of Wells Fargo for 8 years, and now I'm on the business-to-business side, commercial
Yeah.
banking services group.
Exciting stuff. So you're a big proponent of employing design thinking at the front end of innovation, I understand, Robin. We've heard a lot about design thinking in other areas, but in innovation a little bit less so. How do you define it in this context, and why is it so important in your opinion?
Yes, I have been evangelizing design thinking at Wells Fargo for about a dozen years now. And the reason why I think it's really important is twofold. One, it's imperative to be customer-centric today. And design thinking is all about orienting your problem solving around the empathizing with real people and understanding their needs and their pain points. So being customer-centric. And the second piece is around navigating complexity. The world is, becoming ever more complex by the minute due to, technological advancement, just environmental factors. And our customers want us to help them navigate through this complexity. And we also, as a bank and as a collection of team members, need to navigate through the complexity of our own processes. And design thinking, because it helps us to reason visually, keep the needs of customers at the forefront, and toggle between expansive, divergent thinking and then making choices about what's actually going to work. Convergent thinking helps us to do both those things, empathize and navigate complexity.
So how do you apply these principles in practice at the front end of innovation, for example?
A couple of different ways. Depending on where an idea is in its life cycle, we may go through our tried and true user-centered design process, where we first do discovery work and then we move into concepting and design. What we've been focused on for the last 18 months is standing up a new practice around rapid prototyping. So even before ideas are evaluated, greenlit in any way, we are creating prototypes in a very rapid manner to just investigate, often with customers, is this a good idea? What are the critical elements of the experience? Should we pursue this? Should we not pursue this? As a way to be more experimental and thus more innovative.
Excellent, excellent. What advice do you have for someone who might be looking to bring in or implement some of the design thinking principles and approaches that you're doing in your organization at the front end of innovation? Is there anything they should avoid? Do you have any advice for them in getting started, really?
I would say the first thing is to start with people. It's really easy to think about, well, what are our business goals, or what are the technological enablers or constraints that we might have. And I would encourage people to, wait before they move on to those other factors, and to start with, what is the experience that we're trying to deliver? Why would a customer care about this? What would it help them be or do or feel? So starting with customers, number two advice that I have is get more comfortable making things visual and tangible. So there's a lot of really smart people in the world, and we all as smart people like to talk a lot, but that doesn't necessarily build alignment for like, well, what is this thing and what is this idea and how would this work in the real world? So we all reason with space, and having a visual model or a prototype of some fashion helps us to get on the same page and align with others about what the idea is, and then start evaluating it in a much more meaningful way. And the third thing I would say about design thinking, the core concept around diverging, opening yourself up without judgment to many possibilities before converging, evaluating, feels really, really different, and it can be learned with practice. But I think acknowledging to oneself as well as the culture in which they're operating that design thinking feels a little bit uncomfortable at first, because we're used to charging towards the answer, solutions. But just to be patient, know that the process works, and that the goal is learning our way into solutions, because the world is too complex. None of us has the answer right at the onset.
Right. And not knowing everything is tough.
Yes.
It is uncomfortable, as you
But
put it.
knowing, can be the enemy of learning, and really learning is the only, how fast we learn is the only thing that we can control in our business environment today.
Great. Well, thank you for providing these tips for us and telling us about what you're doing over there. I think it's really fantastic stuff. Thanks, Robin.
Thank you.
And that concludes this episode of Forward Focus. If you'd like to learn more about the Front End of Innovation Conference, FEI, please visit us online at frontendofinnovation.com. Until next time, I'm Mark Dresner. Thanks for tuning in.